Hey guys, welcome to the channel. It's Jack with Stronghold Strength and Conditioning. And today we have a 20-minute morning mobility flow for you to get your day started off on the right foot. But before we get into it, make sure that you take a moment to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future content like this. Ready? Here we go. So today's workout is going to be a 20-minute mobility flow. We'll be spending a minute in each position. The goal is just going to be to relax into it, try and release any tension that your muscles are holding or any fight that your body has in it where it's trying to resist the position that we're in. You're going to do that by taking in nice deep breaths, and you can even add a little contract and release in some of these positions as well. So maybe it's flexing the muscle and then letting it go, flexing the muscle and letting it go. And that'll help encourage it to release further each time.
Ready? Here we go. We're going to start in an all fours position with knees directly below the hips and the wrists directly below the shoulders. You want to press the floor away, rounding out the spine as much as possible, exhaling your air as you round out, and then inhaling as you arch the spine as much as possible, rolling the shoulder blades down and back together, keeping the elbows in toward the ribs, feeling the armpits tighten, and keeping the head and neck even in a neutral position as you look forward. Start with what's comfortable, but gradually test the range of motion in each direction each time. Very good. Next, you're going to take the right arm, place the right shoulder to the floor and the right ear to the floor as you reach the arm down by the hip. If you're comfortable in this position, take your left arm and wrap it around your back, pulling your shoulder blades closer together. In this position, focus on relaxing the muscles around the neck, releasing any tension or fight of the head trying to push into the floor, and opening up that space between the neck and shoulder as much as possible. You'll also get a nice spinal twist here from the lumbar spine. Gradually make your way out of it and switch sides. Now our left shoulder is to the floor, left ear to the floor, palm up to the ceiling, right arm wrapped behind your back, and relaxing into the position as much as possible. Good. Once again, carefully make your way out of the position. Come to a seated position with the toes tucked under you, butt to heels. Bring the arms back behind you, fingertips facing the feet, rolling the shoulder blades down and back together. You're going to pick the butt up off the heels just a bit by flexing the glutes. You should be getting a nice stretch through the quadriceps here. Keep the head in a neutral position, looking directly ahead of you, and continue to focus on the shoulder blades pulling together. Now start to transition so that your belly comes to the floor. Your arms are going to be straight, shoulder blades rolled together on the back once again, elbows in toward the rib cage. In this position, you want to keep your quads and glutes flexing just a bit, making sure that it's not putting too much pressure on your low back. If the tall position here is too much, you can also go down to your forearms to make it a little bit less of an arch in this position. My toes are pointing away. I'm focusing on the musculature of the upper back holding strong. Next, lower your chest to the floor and bring the arms out directly at the shoulder. You're going to take your right leg and roll yourself over to the left side. You should feel a pretty good stretch down the front of the arm here. My palm is flat to the floor, my bicep is flat to the floor as much as possible, and it's going to pull right at the front of the chest and shoulder where it meets there. Try and flex the triceps a few times in this position and release to really get the arm to lengthen out as much as you're able to. Take your time switching sides here. Right arm palm to floor, bicep to floor, left leg coming over, left arm helping prop. Getting that stretch down the front of the arm into the shoulder. And now we're going into a downward dog position. So we want the feet about hips distance apart. The heels do not have to be touching the floor. If you're getting a lot of intensity through the back of the leg here, just go where you're able to. I want to feel like I'm pushing my chest toward my thighs from my arms. My elbows should be in toward the rib cage. That'll help get me into that side body stretch that we want. If the back of the legs are tight, you can pedal the knees a little bit, bending and then straightening, bending and straightening. Good. Go ahead and bring the knees to the mat here. Reach the arms out a little bit further to the front, and we're going to drop the chest to the floor and the chin to the floor. I want to try and keep my hips over the knees as much as possible, trying to make myself arch through that thoracic spine quite a bit. Gradually walk your way back out of this position, plant the hands, and then bring the right leg so that the foot is in line with the hands there. Walk the left leg back so that you're not resting on the kneecap but on the quadricep just above the knee there. The foot should be flat to the floor in the back. Get the shoulder blades together and focus on letting the hips open up and relax in this position. Next, you're going to bring your left forearm to the mat, cap the foot with that left hand, and then put your right hand on the knee and open up the leg. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and allow your body to rotate open toward the right thigh. Very good. Next we're going to go into a pigeon pose. So we want to bring that right shin to the mat. The heel can be toward the left hip or even higher if you have a little more flexibility in this position. My left leg is extended back and I want to keep myself centered over the hips as much as possible in this position. You're going to get a pretty tight pull at the hip itself, around the glutes there. Slowly make your way out of that one. Plant the hands once again. We're going to bring that left leg now in line with the arms. Roll those shoulder blades down and back. Once again, with the back leg, we want to get the foot flat to the floor, and we're resting so that the kneecap is not placed down, but we're more on the quadricep just above it. Go ahead and bring that right hand to the left foot with the right forearm down. Put that left hand on the left knee and rotate yourself open toward that left thigh. Shoulder blades coming together, knee opening away. Trying to keep the foot planted in this position, and that's why we cap it with the right hand. Good, and then once again making our way over to the pigeon pose here, bringing that left shin to the mat, heel toward the hip or higher toward the elbow, keeping the hips squared up, and then relaxing into the position as much as possible. You're going to get a pretty tight pull at those glutes again, remember. Just breathe through it and let that muscle relax as much as you're able to. Okay, very good. Next, sit back, pushing yourself so that your butt sits just between your heels here. Your feet might point toward one another in this position, with the knees wide enough that your ribs can kind of settle in right between those thighs there. Rest your forehead on the mat and just kind of let yourself relax into this position after that intense one. From there, you're going to widen the knees to the width of the mat. Sit back, pushing yourself into the heels once again, and then drive the hips forward, focusing on a flex of the glutes as you push the pelvis toward the mat. We're focusing on mobility of the adductors here, so you should get a stretch at those inner thighs. Very good. Now, gradually make your way to your back. You want to place the feet wider than the mat. Allow the knees to drop in toward one another, just letting gravity take them at this point. Still try and keep the foot in contact with the floor as much as possible, trying not to let the outside edge really pick up too far. This should put a stretch at the outside of the hips. Alright, and one last position from here. Go ahead and grab those feet so that your arms are going from the inside of the knee to the hand reaching to the outside of the foot. The ankle should sit over the knee. The shoulder blades should be pulling down and back into the floor the whole time. And you should feel like you're pulling your tailbone and lumbar spine low back to the floor as much as possible. You might get a pretty good stretch at the hips, it might be through the hamstrings, depends on where you're tightest here. You might even be on the inner thigh some. Breathe into the position, try and allow yourself to relax into it as much as possible.
guys should be feeling pretty good at this point, ready to take on the day. If you like this flow, let us know by clicking that button down below. Leave a comment with what was the most relaxing position for you, or which was the most challenging position for you. And if you haven't already, click that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on the future videos that we put out. If you guys need something a little bit more tailored to you, make sure that you take a moment to stop by our website. I'll put that down below in the description. You can click on that coaching inquiry, fill it out, and we'll have you headed in the right direction in no time. Thank you guys for watching today. We'll see you next time.